Hello, crafty friends, and welcome to my channel. Are you like me and always looking for ways to stretch those craft kits a little more? Today, I'm playing with the new Craft Your Life project kit from Altenew and made not one but two cards using everything that came in it. The products coordinate so beautifully, and it honestly makes designing super easy. You can whip up a bunch of these in different color combinations and have a whole stack of cards ready to go. It was actually my birthday earlier this month, so I decided to treat myself to some fun goodies from Altenew's latest release. I picked up two gorgeous embossing folders and the Craft Your Life project kit Illuminated Scenes. For today's video, I'll be focusing just on the kit and sharing the cards that I created with it. I will be using those embossing folders in an upcoming video, so definitely stay tuned for that. All right, let's start with this adorable mini sentiments 3D embossing folder. This is actually my very first mini embossing folder by Altenew, and I was so excited to see it in my package. It features all these beautiful raised sentiments, which you can use as one long strip, or, well, I was thinking of embossing them on different color cardstocks and trimming them down to create cute little sentiment strips. Next up, we have the Textured Tiles 3D embossing folder, which has this gorgeous, realistic brick-like design. I can totally see myself using this one for so many different card projects, creating beautiful backgrounds, which is perfect for adding that extra bit of texture behind some lovely floral accents. Now, let's take a look at this gorgeous Craft Your Life project kit, Illuminated Scenes. Now, we'll be using all the contents from this kit to create our cards today. Now, this kit is available as part of a subscription, but you can also grab it as one time purchase if you prefer. Everything comes neatly packed in one of Altenew's signature storage pockets, which I absolutely love. The quality is amazing and they are perfect for keeping all your large stamps and coordinating products together. Inside the kit, the first thing I have here is this huge 6 by 8 inch stamp set, which has two stunning focal point images, one featuring a cozy living room scene and the other showcasing a lovely craft room setup. Now, there's also 10 versatile sentiments, perfect for sending crafty greetings to friends and family, or even for creating your own DIY wall art or decor pieces. Now, it was not until later that I noticed that the craft room scene on the table, you also have a little stamp wheel there. How fun is that? You also get a coordinating die set that cuts out all the sentiments plus a few frame dies that can be used beyond this kit. Super versatile for all kind of projects. There is an embossing folder included too, which adds a beautiful photo frame like texture to all those die cut frames that you can create. You could use white, black, gold, silver, or any kind of metallic cardstock would look absolutely stunning on these frames. Last but not the least, there's a set of four layering stencils to help you easily add glowing highlights and soft shadows to your stamped images. They make coloring these scenes an absolute breeze. If you're someone who's into alcohol coloring or use pencil colors, these images are absolutely stunning for that too. Now, here's the little stamp wheel that I was talking about. I think this was a very clever and thoughtful idea to include the stamp wheel in this design. One thing I really love about Altenew is how thoughtful they are with their layering sets. Now, whether it's a stamp, die, or even a stencil set, they always include a layering guide. It not only shows you exactly how to layer each piece, but it also gives you some beautiful color combinations to try. For this kit, since we are working with layering stencils, the guide is super helpful. It's a great starting point for choosing your colors and textures. You can, well, follow the suggestions and create the same exact design, or just mix and match and have fun creating your own unique color palette. For today's cards, I'm starting by stamping both of the focal point images onto white cardstock panels measuring 4 by 5 and quarter inches. I'll begin with a living room scene stamp. Now, first, I went ahead and placed my panel onto the Altenew stamp wheel, and since this is a brand new stamp, I like to gently rub my fingers over the surface first. This helps remove some of that initial stickiness and conditions the stamp so it's ready for a nice clean impression. Now, whenever I'm coloring or ink blending on a stamped image, I almost always heat emboss it. It gives a beautiful, shiny, crisp finish, which really helps define the lines and makes the image pop compared to just plain stamping in black ink. So, I started by prepping my panel with an anti static powder tool and then stamped the image using VersaFine Onyx Black ink, which gives a rich, crisp impression. If you're not planning to do any kind of heat embossing, I'd recommend you use a dye ink instead. It dries faster and won't smear or bleed when you color with alcohol markers or ink blending. Now, I like to stamp the image twice to make sure I get perfect coverage, then sprinkle on some clear embossing powder and heat set it with my heat gun. Now, since these are larger images, it's best to let your heat gun heat up fully before bringing it to the paper. And I keep moving it so you don't overmelt the powder or warp the cardstock. Since I knew I was going to create two cards, I decided to make things a little more efficient by stamping both of the images first before moving on to the embossing. I love working this way because it feels like I'm batch producing each step. It saves a lot of time, especially when you're making multiple cards with similar designs or steps. So after I stamped both of my panels, one with the living room scene and other with the craft room scene, I sprinkled clear embossing powder over both the panels at the same time, and well, that way I can clean up the embossing powder once instead of going back and forth between the stamping and embossing for each individual panel. Once I had both the panels coated with the embossing powder, I went ahead and heat set them one after the other. This batching method really helps keep the workflow smooth and organized. You're essentially finishing one step completely before moving on to the next. This technique is especially helpful if you're mass producing a bunch of different cards that follow the same basic design or have similar elements. Doing each step in batches, like all your stamping first, then embossing, then coloring, keeps the process efficient and way less messy. Well, that's what I feel. Plus, it just feels satisfying to see all your pieces come together at once. After heat embossing, I noticed that my panels had warped a little, which is totally normal when working with larger panels and heat embossing them. A simple trick to fix this is place them under a pile of books for a little while to help them flatten out. Just make sure that before you start adding any color, those panels are completely cooled down. If they're still warm, the embossing might smudge or lift, and we definitely don't want that. While my panels were cooling, I decided to work on the sentiments. I stamped two of them onto the same white cardstock and then heat embossed them using the same exact technique that I did for the main images. It's nice to use the same process because it keeps the look consistent and gives a crisp professional finish to all the stamped elements. And with that, all of our stamping and heat embossing is done. This means that we are now ready to move on to the second phase of cards, which is where the fun really begins, adding color, shading, and bringing our scenes to life. I placed my first panel, the living room scene, onto an ultra sticky mat to keep it secure while I work. I'll be using the coordinating stencils to add color to these scenes, but if you prefer, you could skip the stencils entirely and use your alcohol markers to color the images by hand. Now, this stencil pack comes with four stencils for each design, and you'll notice there are etched markings on each one of them. These markings make it super easy to align the stencils with your stamped images. So don't forget to have the stencil guide handy. It really simplifies things and ensures everything lines up perfectly. The Altenew guide also includes a list of suggested colors for each scene. I decided to have a little fun and pull out some bright, vibrant shades from my Simon's Stamp Positively Saturated ink collection. Now, since some of these spaces are really tiny, I used a combination of my mini ink blending brushes from Cat Scrappiness and some of my larger blending brushes to get that smooth coverage across the panel. I also used small post-it notes to mask off areas of the stencil where I didn't want any color. It's a simple trick that really helps keep everything neat and prevents stray ink from landing where it shouldn't. I have to apologize in advance. My head does get in the way a little times while filming, but I really needed to make sure that the stencils were perfectly aligned to achieve a clean, even look. For this project, I used some really bright, cheerful colors to make the scenes pop and bring a fun, lively vibe to our cut. Usually, when it comes to Altenew products, I tend to gravitate towards anything floral. But this kit really caught my eye because of how versatile and unique it is. You'll see once I finish the stenciling, the way the color is applied feels almost like it's following a specific path, highlighting just the center of the image and leaving the rest of the design untouched. I think it gives the cards a very artistic and modern look, something I have never tried before. Normally, I'd either leave the entire stamped image as is or color the whole thing in. But this partial coloring technique, focusing just on the center of the stamp, feels completely different and really makes the focal point pop. I absolutely love the end result. It is so striking and unique. Once I finished the first panel, I carefully peeled it off the ultra sticky mat by gently bending the mat instead of pulling the paper. This helps prevent any curling or damaging of the paper. And take a look at this absolutely stunning design. I love the colors on this, and that partial coloring technique is gorgeous. Then I moved on to the second panel with the craft room scene. I used pretty much the same color palette as the first card, but thanks to the different scene and stencil placement, both the cards ended up looking completely unique. You wouldn't even guess that I used the same exact colors for both. Even though the colors are identical, I think it's because of the placement of the highlights and shadows that's slightly different for each scene. The two cards end up looking completely unique, which is what I love about these sets. When it comes to ink blending, a few simple tricks that can make a big difference is start light and build your color gradually. It's always easier to darken than to lighten. Use gentle circular or back and forth motions for smooth transition and overlap colors slightly so that you get a gradient and that looks a lot more natural. Keep your brushes moving to avoid streaks or dark patches and make sure to use the right brush for the areas. Mini blending brushes for tiny details and the larger brushes for bigger spaces. And just like that, both our panels are ready. I absolutely love how they turned out. The colors are so vibrant, and I especially love that we have one landscape and one portrait card. Next up, we are moving on to some die cutting. I decided to create frames for both the cards using the big frame die that you see here. I cut the frames from a gorgeous glittery paper. It's gold from the new Your Paper Insider box number 13. I love the touch of sparkle on this. It adds a beautiful golden touch to both our cards. This die is a single piece die, which means it cuts out all the frames at once. So it's super quick and easy. I kept the frames together since we'll be popping them into the embossing folder next. Now, because these products are designed to coordinate, aligning the frames in the crevices of the embossing folder is super easy. It's almost like fitting puzzle pieces together. Just look at how gorgeous that texture on each of those frames are. One thing to remember is that all of these are die cut before going into the embossing folder, so it was super easy to just pull them apart and create individual frames. For the living room scene, I decided to use the largest frame. I adhered the panel to the frame using liquid glue, which keeps everything nice and secure. You could also use some foam tape to pop it up to give it that extra bit of dimension. Well, it was at this point that I couldn't help but think this wouldn't just make a beautiful card front, but it could also be a stunning home decor piece. I can totally imagine placing it somewhere in my living room, maybe over the fireplace mantle. It would look absolutely gorgeous there. For my second card, I wanted to keep things a little simpler, so I grabbed one of the thin center pieces from the frame and mounted it directly onto the panel. I did try using one of the thicker frames at first, but I felt it was overpowering my beautiful stenciled image, so the thin frame worked so much more better. If I would recreate this card, I would definitely pop up the frames using some thin strips of foam tape to give it that bit of a dimension. For this card, though, I kept it simple and adhered the frame with liquid glue directly onto the stenciled panel. With that, both our main panels are ready. We have that beautiful stenciled image and the frames. Now it's time to add the sentiments that we had earlier stamped and heat embossed. I went ahead and die cut the sentiments, and to make them a bit more sturdier and give them that little bit of extra dimension, I also die cut a few extra layers from scrap white cardstock and stacked them together. This really makes the sentiment pop on the card. I love how thick this is. Well, you could also use foam tape, but I feel stacking up sentiments gives it a really polished look. I also prepared two card bases, one from classic white cardstock and other from a soft light purple cardstock to coordinate with the colors of the stencil scenes. With all the components ready, it's finally time to assemble the cards. I first adhered the panels onto card bases and then adhered the sentiment strips using liquid glue to both of the panels. I absolutely love how this turned out. This could definitely be a decor piece. For my second card, I mounted the panel onto the card base using some foam tape. I definitely love that extra bit of dimension there. And well, just like that, our cards are complete, one landscape and one portrait. And they both have those vibrant, artistic, modern feel thanks to the stenciling and embossing techniques we used. I'm so happy with how they turned out. And that's a wrap on today's video. I absolutely love creating these cards using the Illuminated Scenes kit, from the stenciling and the embossing to the frames and the finishing touches. The partial coloring technique really gives the scene a modern artistic look, and pairing them with that glittery embossed frame just makes them pop. These cards are perfect for sending to a friend, giving as a gift, or even displaying as a small piece of home decor. I hope this video inspired you to try something a little different with your craft kits and explore new techniques like layering, stenciling, heat embossing, and adding dimensional frames. I will have links to all the supplies that I used to create these cards. Please note that all of those links are affiliate links, which means that if you shop using one of my links, I'll get a small commission at no cost to you guys. Thank you again for joining me today. Until next time, stay safe.